What happens if we mix the combat of Genshin Impact, Devil May Cry and Sekiro? We are getting a combat system that looks like this.
Nice.
I've played video games my entire life. I've literally been through all genres, and it's definitely rare to find an experience that feels like this. WuWa is definitely outperforming every other gacha game when it comes to combat, without a doubt. Oh, I see the comments. But what is so exciting about it? The last time combat felt this good was when I played Black Desert Online for the first time. I can still remember how far ahead of its time this game felt when it came out. But sadly, BDO fell short because of its lack of meaningful content. The combat just simply wasn't enough to keep me playing. Maybe I was just overwhelmed by its complex systems, but yeah, regardless, I quit at some point. With WuWa, it kind of felt the same. I jumped into the game with no big expectations, and I just wanted to try this potential new Genshin killer to kind of make my own opinion about it. I wasn't expecting it to be that good.
Oh, she's badass as well.
Now let me break down what makes this combat so appealing to me. We can play with up to 3 characters in a team. We can switch between characters whenever we want. So we can play 3 characters in a team, and there's always going to be 1 character on field at the time. A team of 3 incentivizes strategic team building. The roster is pretty interesting to say the least, but more on that later. The main mechanic that makes this combat feel so good is the dodge. If you dodge, a cool animation will play. The whole combat feels very flashy and almost acrobatic. If you dodge an incoming attack, time will slow down, and it kind of feels like a bullet time effect. This bullet time effect gives you a nice feedback, and it definitely makes dodging feel more meaningful. If you successfully dodge an incoming attack, you can press your attack button to execute a counter attack. The next thing is another exciting feature that spices up the combat. WuWa is featuring a mechanic called Forte. While attacking your enemies, the Forte bar is filled up over time. Once the Forte bar is full, you can drain it for either a special attack or some form of enhanced state. Our protagonist has the ability to somewhat go into kind of like a Super Saiyan mode. Her sword turns into a scythe and she deals massive damage in that state. The character Changli can use her Forte stack to unleash a heavy AoE attack. Support characters can utilize the Forte mechanic to grant a shield or heal a certain amount of damage. Yet again, we can see that they added another layer which allows the creators of the game to give each and every character more personality and somewhat of a unique playstyle. The animations look really good. It is very fluid and very dynamic for almost every character. The next mechanic is an intro and an outro ability that every character has. Every single character builds up an energy bar over time. The energy bar is called Concerto energy, and it works in a similar fashion to the Forte bar. The Concerto energy fills up over time, either by attacking your opponent or using special abilities. Once the Concerto energy is full, your current character is granted an outro ability, and your next incoming character is granted an intro ability. The outro ability is most of the times a flashy attack or a buff to the next character. The Concerto mechanic definitely incentivizes a more flashy playstyle. Players even came up with something called Quick Swap. Playing Quick Swap is, like the name suggests, very flashy and fun to execute. You are essentially switching between characters all the time and your screen is just bombarded with flashy effects.
Earlier you might have noticed this cool animation. This is an echo ability. After defeating enemies in the world, you get the chance to collect their echo. Imagine catching a Pokemon without the need for a Pokeball. There's tons of different echoes that you can equip. Some have somewhat decent abilities while others have really cool animations. Look at this one, for example. Or this one. I think the echo abilities are pretty cool. The final 3 things that we need to talk about. I almost forgot to mention that we can actually parry in this game. Earlier I said the game has systems from Sekiro. Here you can see the parry mechanic in play. If you hit the opponent with the right timing, you will break his stance. If his stance is broken, you are able to deal massive damage. The opponent cannot attack you while he is vulnerable in this state. The last 2 mechanics are our usual special and ultimate ability. They range from decent to very flashy.
shall fight.
With that said, the game is still a gacha game and it definitely has some flaws. But I just had a whole glazing session and I don't want the video to end on a bad note. I believe that a good game needs good gameplay. If a game is good, if a game plays good, people will love it. We see it time and time again with multiple games from multiple different genres. If the game plays right, it is perceived to be a good game. And so I believe that developers should just take note of that and see that, hey, people love the game because it plays good, okay? People love the game because it feels good. People just want to play the game for the joy of playing the game. Not just for the pulling the characters, not just for any reason, but to play a game that is fun. People will return to a game that is always fun, and we need more games that are just focusing on good gameplay. That's all for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. A like will give this video a chance to grow, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay blessed. Ciao, ciao.